Man United is not done for the weekend. Wan Bissaka is said to have his West Ham medical this Sunday, tomorrow. That's the day that has been set. I'm here to give you more details about how Manchester United has had to pay him to force through the move away to join West Ham so that we make way for the arrival of Noussair Mazraoui. Welcome to the United Sport. But the big question is, of all players we wanted out, how is it that Wan Bissaka is one of the first victims we clear out? Trust you me, more are following. Let's get into it. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and of course, thank you for being ready for the new season. Now, Wan Bissaka, it has been confirmed after West Ham agreed already 15 million pounds with Man United, and now the fee has been agreed between Wan Bissaka and Man United. The compensation, if I would call it that, or the sign-out fee, if I would call it that as well, between the club and the player who was insisting on staying until he's given some money so that he doesn't make a single loss. So Manchester United, as it is now, it is paying Wan Bissaka to lose him, to let him go. That's the situation we are in. So honestly, you think about that, and it's a bit player like Wan Bissaka, who joined Man United in 2019, in the summer of 2019. We paid Crystal Palace 45 million pounds as a fixed fee with an extra 5 million pounds in add-ons. Now, we don't want to go back into how they negotiated that deal, because never mind, him being decent at the time, that was a lot of money back then. I mean, that was really poor negotiation. But that said, he joined in 2019, and he has been clearly, I think, an integral part of everything United ever since he really started playing out of injury. I think he has gone on to play 130 games for Man United. Doesn't score so many goals. I think only two he has scored, but he has won over hearts of certain supporters. He's leaving called with a nickname for himself, Spider One, Super Spider One, and he has shown that he's one of the best 1v1 defenders probably in Europe. And that, for me, is a big thing for you to depart on that note. But also, his departure has left Man United a bit divided, because I know several Man United supporters who are feeling Wan Bissaka should have stayed and probably run out his contract. So you think he will live with his head high, given the fact that he's also living with his bank balance high, certainly. So he should be happy, and he's still staying in the Premier League, relevant, joining a good manager in Julien Lopetegui, who will certainly get the best out of him. He's joining a team that is also reshaping. West Ham United are trying to break into, I think, one of those competitive levels as a club. With Julien Lopetegui, they brought in a manager with experience, replacing someone who has been there for a long time in David Moyes. So you think Lopetegui signing players like Jean-Claude Todibo, who arrived already, is a player Man United wanted as a part of their rebuild. So you feel like Wan Bissaka is still getting a good challenge for himself, and he can go out there and actually become a better defender, because at least the potential is there. But as he leaves and Noussair Mazraoui comes in, the question then is, what difference does Noussair Mazraoui offer to Man United? The first thing is the individual depth that comes with Noussair Mazraoui, because Wan Bissaka has played in several games as a left back, but he has struggled there. To be honest, he has always struggled there. In fact, to a point that Eric Ten Hag was forced to play Diogo Dalot as left back and Bissaka stays on the right in games where we didn't have a natural left back, because it just didn't work with Wan Bissaka. Whereas he was never terrible, because again, his 1v1 game is impeccable. When it comes to overlapping, making good overlapping runs, and that final ball when you make the overlapping run, the final pass off cross that you make, he was extremely below average. Now, for a club like Man United, and how Eric Ten Hag wants his club to play with his defenders, contributing to the attack, to the creativity, certainly he was always going to be one of the weakest links for Eric Ten Hag. So his positives were there. So Noussair Mazraoui coming in is a very beautiful goal distributor. Whether we're playing him on the left or on the right, it doesn't matter. He's still a good ball distributor, and that's one of the major attributes that have got him in, because Man United seem to have decided to buy some time for Luke Shaw and Tyler Malaysia. So meaning they will not invest so much money to bring in a left back. So what is hit two birds with a single stone? Bring in a full back who can play left and right. He's an option on the right, but we know that for the most part, when these natural left backs are not there, he can comfortably play on the left, and you're getting him for 15 million fixed fee euros and 5 million in add-ons. That's a bargain. That clearly is a bargain for Manchester United. So that's why Eric Ten Hag had to quickly, ensure that that deal is put through. You might wonder why this was expedited before the other departments before, and why it had to be Wan Bissaka who was forced out. Because if you look at Bissaka on an individual basis, there are players who are still at United that you think he was better than. For example, Scott McTominay, we saw him today and how he was struggling. He couldn't pass the ball for his life. His body language alone shows you he's done. His football is way off. He's probably worse than he left. So clearly, there are people who will feel Wan Bissaka was a better player than Scott. But when it comes to how Eric Ten Hag wants to play, the style we are demanding to see early into the season, he would rather gamble with Casemiro like gambled today, and we saw Man United trying to play good football. They would rather gamble with Casemiro in the middle, but it's difficult to gamble with Aaron Wan Bissaka because the back line is so important in starting the play, in starting that style of what's the word? Proactive Eric Ten Hag football, the proactive style he wants to play. You need to have all your defenders able to play the ball because at any one time, the task the goalkeeper is to start the ball to Eric, start the ball to Martinez, start the ball to someone in the middle to Kobe, start the ball to another centre back to delete, start the ball to some. So the people around the goalkeeper need to be able to comfortably use the ball, and that has been a big problem for Aaron Wan Bissaka. That is what has forced him out to make way for Noussair Mazraoui. So your expectation from Mazraoui should be a person who is more comfortable on the ball, uses the ball better, good ball distribution, and of course, the fact that he can play both left and right. So, is he a good signing for Man United? Yes. You feel me? So that's exactly what's happening. So when Aaron Wan Bissaka's medical is done, the idea is for Noussair Mazraoui to come in as early as possible. In fact, it seems to be that the Noussair Mazraoui medical is not as important. I think there is a certain assurance to his fitness. It's not as if it's not a condition. It's not subject. His deal is not really subject to a medical. Of course, ordinarily most deals will be subject to a medical, but it seems not to be the big deal. The medical is mostly with Mathis Delete. That's where the doubts are. But Mazraoui's injury record, I think, has been clean. That Man United, given they are in a rush to get him in, they may not really want to subject him to waste more time on that. Yet they probably have the injury records because you always ask for the team you're buying from the injury record of a player. So, but we will see. But trust you me, the idea is to be able to have Noussair Mazraoui in as early as possible. And if Mazraoui is in, and it doesn't matter how a little bit longer this delete will take, Eric Ten Hag will feel sorted. He will go into the Friday game against Fulham feeling at least better and more comfortable with the people he has. You saw how Lisandro Martinez struggled on the left. But whenever he went back into the left-hand side of central defense, he looked comfortable. So it's really, you understand why Eric Ten Hag was that. So what do you expect now? Think against Fulham, if Luke Shaw is not fit, like he seems to be, not to be, on the left, Mazraoui, on the right, Dalot, central defense, Lisandro Martinez, and on the right, probably if Delete is in already at the time, he will be starting on the right of the central defense, or Harry Maguire will play there alongside Lisandro Martinez again if they maintain their fitness until then. So that's exactly what is going on at Man United now. My name is Webb. This is the United Sport. That's a quick late update concerning what's happening. Meanwhile, it has been reported that, by the way, Man United today still had talks with Paris Saint-Germain over Manuel Ugarte. So these talks are not done, like I've consistently been telling you. Listen, this weekend for United is not done. It's just getting started.